see if the cinch pick plays out for them as we enter onto the Rift. Welcome to Summoner's Rift for the last time today. Definitely a really big cheer for both teams, but I think Longzhu might have won that one out in the end.
Starting around 10:30 p.m. Korean Standard Time. A lot of loyal fans staying here and stacking it up at the OGNE Stadium. Now getting to see some of them. That's a pretty good.
That's a
pretty good sign there.
That's quite horrifying, actually. Iksu as Poppy.
Well, Iksu and Umti are playing Operation Soak up as much Talia damage as possible by being super tanky.
And you know what? We're going to end this series in the best way possible. There's an Infernal Drake for the first time today, Papa Smithy. That'll be starting things off for us.
Inferno Drake, hallowed be thy name. Blessed onto us to open up the last game.
I don't know that.
That's okay.
I forget what it's called.
It's the same rule as with music. I can only say the first couple lines and it's copyrighted, I'm pretty sure, so I'll hold back now. As Prey just takes 1 billion damage.
Yeah, he takes a hell of a lot. Speaking of copyright, we had the early iterations of the intro video posted to. Oh boy. Well, that changed rather quickly.
If they throw the game, Mad Plane's coming out, isn't it?
I would expect so. Then maybe we'll get the opposite. We'll have a dragon taking down an airplane in the sky, attacking it.
That would be epic, actually. Now I kind of want to see it.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody out there can draw something up.
Only if it's necessary, though. Don't just have it as a theory. They need to actually... You need to earn the Mad Plane. Mad Plane stays dormant for most of the season.
Longzhu really needs to crush Jin Air in order for that to happen. Or Jin Air has to have some big, big reverse sweep.
Yeah, Mad Plane originally came out in summer of 2015 when Jin Air lost to Spenu to give them their first match win of the whole season. And,
Spenu.
Bad times.
Well, Crash.
Vader's advantage.
Yeah, coming around the side here. Does hit Umti with the Void Spikes. But whether or not he can go for the Gromp, he's trying to time it.
Got it.
Nicely done. Well, that definitely makes it worth the time investment.
I mean, consider what else it did. Misfortune had to come and help. They got pushed onto turret. Prey got to deny some CS to turret as well. So, both in terms of the laning phase, even though the early laning phase obviously went pretty awfully for Prey. He's pretty happy he got the 3 potions this game instead of the Dawn turret.
Yeah,
needed them.
Gorilla, though, doesn't quite hit, but still stops the back. So he won't be getting back into lane for a considerable amount of time. Might just stick around at this point, honestly. Just one of those things where it's like, I got my back denied like 4 times. Screw it, I'm just going to stay here.
Well, Crash is in vision.
Yep.
He's worked that out.
Spotted by the ward, so he won't waste any time. Just going to run straight back into the jungle. Looks like over to Krugs to clear those out. See how early these guys are going to try to visit that Infernal Drake. Imagine they want to snatch that up sometime around the 10 to 12 minute mark.
Actually really good being blue side this game for Kha'Zix because you can just rush 6, jump over the back, have flash up on the off chance that you get caught and solo it down.
You can also just blast cone your way in, save the leap too.
Sure. Blast cone not always available for that particular jump, but if it is, definitely.
So you have that, definitely have that flexibility. So sure, we'll see Crash make use of that in just a bit.
One of those things where people talk about on red side, ability to jump over the back of the Baron pit can certainly get a lot of value, but when it's a Cloud Drake or when it's an Ocean Drake, maybe not as much value on blue side. When it's an Infernal, sometimes a trade that you'll take.
Yep, got to be pretty happy about that. See, recall comes through from Expression, pops the TP, and he's got the Dank Seal build going out.
Yep, triple. I don't think we've seen quadruple yet. Quadruple's maybe pushing it.
Yeah, that might be a little bit too
You kind of want inventory slots for... You need an inventory slot for your Catalyst into Righteous Glory. So Merc Treads, Catalyst, Righteous Glory seems to be pretty much the min-max, so triple is what you fit in.
Definitely hits a point where, you know, the cost effectiveness goes out the window. So
It's not that so much. It's more the item slot of just not having item slots to fit something important, because you're building towards Catalyst, which is a very slot-efficient item. So you just run out of slots. You need the Corrupting Potion. You need 3, or you choose for 3. You're going to get Merc Treads. You only have 1 spot left, and Catalyst is just... Yeah, you don't want to sell it instantly for a Catalyst, so it makes sense to stick at 3.
It's also just 350 more gold that you could have to put towards the Catalyst.
Yeah, and it's a buy timing thing as well, right? Because the extra 2 Dark Seals is 700 gold. If it was the 3, it's 1050.
Oh, a ward on the backside of the pit there. So Snowflower being fully aware that the Kazakhs could try to jump in and sneak out that dragon. So actually, Jin Air having some pretty good vision control inside the jungle of Longzhu, really keeping tabs on Crash.
Shoot there by Prey to walk up. Take big trade from Teddy. Just stacking AD. Gone for pickaxe early. Maybe no Essence Reaver.
Yeah, could be changing things up a little bit. Not sure if that means we're going to see, you know, Manamune come out. Be a little bit odd to not have the tier.
No, and it's definitely no guarantee. The pickaxe will fit in something early, and it's also winning in terms of AD early, so I don't think it's a problem necessarily. Feels like there's a lot of information here for Longzhu, but the teleport's drawn.
Fly sees this. Looks like the red buff might still go over to Crash. Yep, smites it out. Ixu running his way down. They're going to try to stop Kuzan. He goes in, drops that Ring of Frost, catches Expression and Fly. Has to go into the frozen tomb to keep himself alive, but Expression has the toss. He flashes away. Kuzan, will he fall? Looks like he's going to be living through this one. Expression flashing forward is Ixu, and he's able to come up with the first blood. Might pay for this one with his life. There goes Fly and
That's
Crash,
one.
both going over the wall. And they'll be able to fire back, equalize it at 1-for-1, but Kuzan and barely make it out with any HP.
Everyone was just skirting the edge of their life, especially because they were fighting on ground that, because the terrain changes consistently, Fly isn't on work ground. He had enough mana. Very, very risky to chase as Prey sidesteps Chain of Corruption, but not one of the Qs. Piercing Arrow does hit that time. Risky. If the first kill had gone down to Kuzan, that would have been 2, maybe 3. It is only a 1-for-1. So Jin Air, given how that started and also the champions involved, I think they'll be really happy that they escaped with first blood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nearly dying. We'll take another look at this here. Kuzan going in. I mean,
Crash plays it great. He gets out. Kuzan wanted to just assassinate the Kazakhs. And then because Kuzan gets out, suddenly Expression, he takes a couple of steps too far forward, can't get out, just doesn't have the tankiness to do so. Double flash not ideal, so ends up being a pretty big investment, but everyone's flash is down, and they're going to have a pretty good idea of cooldowns because they were basically used within a 10-second window of each other.
Yep, so that's going to inch Jin Air forward just a little bit here. First blood going over to Ixu. Sure, you would have liked to have had it on Kuzan, but that will get the Maokai tanky even faster.
No blast cone for the Kazakhs to leap in, but this is the time when you really want to solo down that Infernal Drake. Double control ward means that he can actually just walk around, but the moment that you actually get to the entrance to the pit, there's a lot of different wards that can spot you walking in, so bit of a frustrating game for Kazakhs. Might meet each other here.
He goes over the wall. Yep, we'll find Umti. There's a ward in the pit, jumps forward. Oh my god, look at the damage onto the wreck side, just rips right through him.
Thunderlord's proc as well.
And that's what happens when you just have, no Cinder Hulk with a Tiamat.
Well, it's the assist ping, so he wants some help, knows that he's in a ward. Infernal Drake isn't one that debuffs damage, but it does more damage, so one of those cases where he knows he's going to fall till around half health. Doesn't get any help, but it's Kazakhs after level 6, so that's what happens.
Doesn't need it. See that there will be a Cloud Drake coming up next. Umti, knowing that he couldn't contest the dragon, rotated up to the top side of Longzhu's jungle, but there was nothing to be found, so a lot of wasted time for Umti.
Doesn't even have a ward to put down for the enemy blue because he's just switched to sweeper.
I don't think there's any, blue side Krugs are the only camp up at the moment, and it looks like the respawn did come through for red. So yeah, there was really just nothing for Umti to do. So, feels bad. That's going to be a nice early Infernal Drake going over to Longzhu.
Top lane is doing top lane things.
Yep. Just,
Especially not being allowed to get the proxy, so good wave management by Ixu so far.
yeah, I mean, we haven't seen nearly as many roams from this Cinch as we saw from Ixu's just a couple days ago. Would, you know, proxy the wave, run down to mid. Can I toss somebody? No? Okay, goes back to top.
It's such a big advantage to be proxying. You know, some people will see a Maokai. We saw this a lot in some series yesterday where Maokai is, say, at the outer turret and the Singe is at the equivalent of the inner turret. And you're like, okay, you know, they're just swapping farm. Maokai's not losing any health. Is this relevant? The fact that the minion wave is walking so much less means there's more darkness, means that you have less vision around places you usually have vision, and anything can happen there. The jungler can just walk in from very aggressive means if you can hold a control ward like Longzhu are here. Looking for a turret dive, level 9 Maokai. If he drops ult, maybe, but he's actually spotted. Smart ward there, not going to be spotted by a control ward.
Yep. So, Ixu keeping himself safe, and yeah, I think that would have been a bit of an ill-advised turret dive.
And just to finish off the point, the other thing you can do when you're proxying is just duck into the enemy jungle and either ward or take most of the small camps. So you have a lot more options when you're proxying. That's why if you can make it work and either, you know, draw the jungler's attention the whole game and overextend in other lanes, or just profit from extra resources, it's what you want to be able to do. It's up to the enemy top laner to manipulate the wave and make it tricky for you.
Yep, just haven't gotten into position to do that so far. Foreign Specian comes back into lane, has those Merc Treads completed, as well as the Catalyst now. So that'll give him a bit more leeway to mess around up there. So far, Crash, don't think he's been spotted. Teddy and Snowflower both are playing pretty far back. See, Teddy, does he throw it to try to test? No, he does not. Ash Arrow comes out, catches Teddy, goes in. Root's locking him down. Zyra ultimate popping him up, and Crash is able to finish him off. Won't stick around for Snowflower because now the TP coming through from Ixu. They will peel back. Both teleports get canceled. And Longzhu, they put another kill on the board, and maybe we'll find that first brick gold. Looks like the answer will be a yes as Snowflower peels way back down the lane.
It looks like a big investment to flash from Gorilla, but it's so worth it. They don't draw their mid laner who's still clearing in mid. They also have the double control ward down and the semi-global of Fly, which makes this outer turret easy to pick up. Nice stuff from Longzhu. They're actually going to take longer because
oh boy,
misjudged that last auto. And if they actually miss out on it, which they do, look at Rek'Sai's actually pulling up. Crash has to back. Big mistake there. Routine last auto. Just didn't get the help, tried to solo it down, and suddenly they don't get the maximum benefit they should have been granted.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one hit from gone.
That's what happens
71
when you,
HP on the turret.
Yeah, you just try and give the solo hit. Small misjudgment by a veteran in Prey, and the cost is you walk back, you go back, and suddenly Prey doesn't have that 650 gold that he would have had, and the item buy, still good, still the Essence Reaver.
But it could have been so much more.
And it's honestly, it sounds like it shouldn't, but it's the sort of thing that can tilt you. Well, I made a silly mistake, because it's a silly mistake. There's no other way to put it. Speaking of silly mistakes.
Oh boy, well, just two ships passing in the night.
I mean, that was a bit of a shipwreck that was somehow righted. That captain deserves a raise. He managed to survive through that.
Yep, MT, he makes his way out. Had to use the flash. But we'll see. Prey should be able to shove this wave up. Crash is hovering nearby. Has been spotted out by a couple wards, but this should be the turret going down. MT is waiting in over the wall. Could tunnel in.
Optimistic.
Yeah, Crystalline Arrow goes out. Still a lot of distance. It would have had to be
Sandra.
Prey. Oh god, look how much damage he is just pumping out onto Prey. Prey flashes forward, tries to get Teddy, can't do it. Meanwhile, back on the other side of things, Kuzan goes in, is able to take out Gorilla.
Watch
Talia. Gets
Talia.
taken down by Crash Fly. Flashing forward, jumps straight in, looking for Snowflower. And he should be able to get it with the threaded volley, changing targets over to Umte. As Crash says, you know what, I got the MF. You finish off the Rek'Sai. They'll do just that. Double kill going over to Fly. You can see the smile on his face. And that will be the turret going over to Longzhu in the end. Man, what a play in bottom.
And he's so conservative with these roams, but it works. The first time he wasn't needed when they went for the dive. Should have got the turret, didn't quite. This time, perfect timing. GLP and Sorcerer's Shoes committed. We get to see a replay, and you're like, oh, goodness. The Lissandra teleports in exactly the right spot. Prey smart. This is Longzhu playing it super smart. Prey was dead. He was going to die. He just buys time. And that means that the members are out of position when it comes to getting follow-up kills. Kuzan misplays. And then suddenly, it's GLP. It's GLP, Talia coming through. Good target calling. This is really, really clean stuff from Longzhu, and they get the maximum.
Yep. Absolutely. Really well done by them. 4 kills picked up and put on the board. 6-3. Still just 1.6 thousand gold in the lead. So, Janair, not out of it yet. But that is definitely a big momentum swing in favor of Longzhu.
I mean, Talia just never had this freedom in game 1, was a passenger for that whole game. Should have been Lissandra dictating the game, but misjudged the damage that Crash could put out. And now Longzhu can play the 1-3-1 they want to. Suddenly, there isn't the map pressure. It was the duo of Umti and Kuzan taking out the Talia in bot lane that led to the snowball that meant that Longzhu could never really get breathing room to come back into the game. Now in game 3, Talia's working, the plan is working, and you can see it vindicates Longzhu's draft where they're like, it wasn't a bad draft in game 1. We can make it work. And I agree, it wasn't a bad draft. They don't change much about it. They get some pressure in the top lane. Expression seems a lot more comfortable compared to where I was at in game 1. It seemed nerves, honestly, more than anything else, which is strange to say about a player who's such a veteran.
Yeah, I mean, the Nautilus in game 2 compared to game 1 was
Yes.
night and day, so definitely, wasn't a unfamiliarity with that champion. Just seems like he needed a game to get back into the zone. Speaking of zones, really nice wall thrown down by Fly. They won't be able to get the turret yet, though, and now TP's coming straight into the front by Ixu. Who's on? Almost gets solo killed in the back of the jungle there by Fly.
And Crash is once again going for the W second max. What it does give you is some utility with the slow and also the wave clear. Isn't quite the same resetting assassin, but you choose your jump, you have splash up, you can get a lot done. As arrow goes wide, turret's very low, but Ixu is looking for an angle.
Yeah, they throw the arrow straight through the goalpost to the enemy players. They get a little bit more damage onto the turret, but not nearly as much as they would want. Ixu had roamed down from the top lane, had plenty of time to just work his way down, but can't find anybody to go on with that twisted advance.
Longzhu for now have to back off. Their pick target in terms of the pick tool in terms of the internal crystal arrow not available. We return to your regularly scheduled programming of Singe being annoying.
Yep. Just gonna be running around, killing some minions.
Yep. One-track minded, that's Singed.
I think he's been having too many of those fumes inhaled. Can't focus on much else.
Well, they are poisonous, so clearly not that poisonous to Singed.
It's just actively frying his brain.
My mom said video games would do that to me.
And look at us now. Now we're talking about video games.
True, and there's a paycheck, so I mean, I guess I overperformed.
Aha! Take that, Mom.
I remember my dad, way back when, said, why are you playing those video games? Like you'll never really contribute to anything. And then I got a job in video games, and I said, well, what about now, Dad? And he was like, shut up, son. So,
Don't disrespect me. I'm still your father.
It's not that kind of dad, but he wasn't going to be sassed either.
Yeah. I remember when Team Liquid reached out and wanted to hire me for video production. I told my dad, I was like, yeah, this video company wants me to, this team wants me to move out to LA and work for them, like doing video work. He's like, well, what exactly is this for? And I was like, it's for competitive video games. And he just kind of shook his head and he's just like, okay, I guess. He's like, I don't understand it, but I'm proud of you. Good job.
Sounds like a good dad.
My dad is a very interesting person. He's
your dad.
Yeah. He is, in fact. Black belt, former prison guard, firearms trainer, hostage negotiator, and then he spends his days, now he's retired, and he just sits on the couch, watches some football with a big tub of ice cream and a nice glass of Jack Daniels.
I think I've seen that movie before. Are you sure he's not a superhero in secret?
Honestly, I wouldn't be that surprised. My dad's like 56, I think, at this point, and he's still ripped.
So far, superhero looking increasingly likely.
Could be, yeah. He retired from his job so he could be a full-time superhero. One day he'll reveal the secret.
You made video games your career. I made being a superhero my career.
Say, well, why didn't I inherit any of that? Why did I? I mean, I'm not complaining about talking about video games, but being a superhero sounds pretty cool too.
You got time. He didn't go full-time superhero until much later in life. You could too, Achilles.
That's true. All right, I know what I'm doing when I turn 50.
Something about Jack Daniels and watching movies.
Yeah, I'll get every aspect of that except for being a superhero or a black belt or a firearms trainer.
You could buy a black belt. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, maybe.
Something for tomorrow.
I'm going to the store. Oh, boy.
Singe likes it too. He laughed.
Yep.
Man, OGN cameraman. Not much to show this game.
He's just enthralled by this Singed Maokai
I think
matchup.
instead of showing the Singed Maokai matchup, there should be like a, like when the LCS did like that, like let's listen to what Bjergsen thinks about this matchup, and it was like a video in screen. It should just be like, that's great laughs. A little like audio update of top lane, Singed laughing.
I would love to, like, if we had the comms and we could all understand them for this matchup, I would love to hear what Expression is like communicating to his team, if he's even talking at all.
I mean, from my experience, whenever top laner gets to play Singed, just having a good time. It's like, working out some like deep-seated issues, some cathartic moments of like, because they've all played Nautilus versus Jace, where they're just like, all right, okay, your damage dealt grass going to be really strong, I get it. Whereas with Singed, just like, wee, I'm all over the place, Pressing Righteous Glory and Ghost is so fun. He hasn't even got to do that in this game.
So annoying. Oh boy, Kuzan, look at the damage coming out of Fly. Takes that Glacial Path out to safety. But, yeah, the Talia is definitely working out a lot better this time around.
Oh, baby, I asked for the triple, Achilles. The double. The double Cloud Drake.
Gonna have the double Cloud Drake. What do we get
one more.
next?
Give it to me. Give me that third Cloud Drake.
And nope. Ocean.
Life's a beach.
Sorry. Oh, don't give up now. You're about to turn 30. I don't need you starting this, this midlife crisis stuff on me.
Oh. 30. It's that scary number, Achilles. I gotta say, I was weird, because like 25, I was like, this is cool. 26, I was like, all right. 27 was the year when I was like, oh, I'm just old.
Still the second youngest out here.
That's true. That's true. But the oldest LCK caster. Among the two of us. In fact, among the four of us.
You got me beat.
Among the four of us, too. If we include the Gangnam Studio, still by far the oldest.
Well, 5 because we have Mystery Caster.
I think you might actually be the second oldest.
Wow, that's...
Valdez and LS, not very old.
Huh.
Look at us, old men over here.
That's scary to think about. Oh, God, now I'm having a midlife crisis. No, what have you done?
I mean, from what I understand, the second part of your life is going to be pretty sweet. If the second part is 50. Like, I don't know. I guess that's the third part in this world. There's a lot of parts to your life. Compartmentalize that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Longzhu's playing the map exactly like they should.
Jin Air's being Jin Air.
I mean, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, Jin Air's being Jin Air.
I mean, the comp doesn't do damage when they're behind, and they're behind. They have to seed objectives. They need a 6 TP play, but as you can see, they've never really got the wards to get them, apart from one in the mid lane, but it's Singed in the mid lane. Just having a happy old time clearing waves in mid, then bot. Just not worried about Maokai taking turrets.
Yep, has that Zerat portal. Don't think he's placed it yet, but sure we'll see that thrown down somewhere around the... There we go. Yeah, I'll have to move that up towards that tier 2 tower when he can.
He just put it under the turret. That Maokai can't go auto-attack that without taking 800 damage.
Oh, is that all?
Well, I mean, he's got a lot of health.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's barely going to put a dent in him. So you can definitely go clear that.
This is basically so that he can walk to mid, because they're playing around mid and top.
stop the turret from being taken by the minion waves.
It is, if you think about it, a very conservative use of the Zerat portal, especially after the nerfs where they only last 5 seconds. This is more of a stabilizing thing than an offensive move.
Yep. See Fly move up to the top lane. Kuzan is there, but can't even go near this Taliyah, because he knows that he's just going to get bopped.
Well, they have no control over the river. There's 3 control wards, or at least there was in the river. So between that and the movement speed, Gorilla can be everywhere.
Longzhu certainly seem to be in a pretty strong position at the moment, but kind of struggling to figure out where they need to go. It's just been a lot of wave clearing as of late.
I mean, this is just, do Longzhu mess up at Baron or not? I feel like is where the game's at right now. That seems to be the only way they can lose. I mean, if they like completely abandon the buddy system and Lissandra gets a sick teleport, I guess that could happen too.
Possibly, but
Everyone's so fast as well.
Ixu, he might be setting up for something. He's sitting in the brush. Don't think that Longzhu has spotted him.
I mean, Prey's not playing around the bot side, neither is Longzhu after they put down that Zerat portal, so they're never going to kite and face check the Maokai.
Well, they spot him now. He walks forward. Roots come
Well,
through. Ash Arrow's going to connect onto him. They wanted to go all in on Ixu. Looks like the answer might be yes. Fly has to flash away. Goes really low, but still has the damage to help take out Ixu. Kill goes over to Crash. And they'll be pretty happy with that pickup, but can they find anything off the back end of it? Fly has to head back to the base.
I couldn't
heal
tell if
back
he
up.
abandoned his Weaver's Wall or he got damaged off of it. If he abandoned it to the wrong side and almost died. Had to flash out. If it was harassed off, that was a nice play from Jinair. Especially just walks bottom. Baron's not a realistic objective for them right now. They need Singe to tank it. And they can't really turn. Singe doesn't offer, they don't offer much in terms of turn. It's only the arrow that can be flashed or the grasping roots from Zyra. So for now, Baron, they're gonna hold off.
Yep, so just gonna kill, take Ixu off the map for a short period of time, but otherwise not much gonna be gained here for Longzhu.
What I would like, and I know there's a cost to this, is one person to come help clear the control wards. It's only a single control ward actually. It's a little bit deceptive on our small screens. Some of the Rek'Sai tunnels look like control wards, but if you clear the control wards, put down a really aggressive Zerat portal that's actually doing things around the inner turret, and then make the Baron play is what I want to see. For now, the Zerat portal's not getting a lot of value. And it's unsafe, or at least it'll be cleared easily for now if it's put around the enemy blue buff. Baron is the objective they really want, but given that Singe is being moved around the map, and it's another really conservative Zerat portal.
Yeah,
That one's going to get them nothing because
the minions are gonna die by the time they hit
and Jinair will always push up there before they go to Baron anyway.
Yeah.
It's so close to the Baron. You want the Zerat portal on the other side of the map so that it's actually gameplay to deal with it. Speaking of gameplay,
seismic shove, pushes it back in. Look at the damage. Ash Arrow comes through, connects on the Snowflower. Not a whole lot they can do about that one.
man, Taliyah ahead does so much more damage than Taliyah behind.
Yeah, this is much better Taliyah than we saw in game 1.
That hurt.
Maybe this Taliyah can get a pentakill and I'll notice it.
Doesn't seem likely, Achilles.
Yeah, probably.
We have evidence to the contrary.
I'll just fall asleep in the middle of the fight. But all right, 4th Dragon. Now for Longzhu, an Ocean Drake to go along with their Double Cloud and Infernal. What's it gonna be?
Please. Yeah!
There you go. You got your wish. Another
Give me
Cloud
the
Drake.
ultimate turbo singed. I know someone has a land speed record, but we're talking about LCK speed record. No Orianna, sadly, to dissonance him.
Or a Lulu.
Sadly, no. Still, Ghost, Righteous Glory. Three of those Cloud Drakes. Going to be turbo singed. What's he at now? He's at casually like something insane, but I think that was actually showing the number from the base, so try to get a more accurate number. I mean, Rock Surfing at 521 MS is the Taliyah.
It's pretty good.
Gotta go fast, man. Sonic had the right idea. Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, they throw it out.
That's too far.
Yeah.
Too slow.
Won't cut off Teddy in time, so they're not going to get anything for that. Crash has to hop away from the 3 members of Jinair that are sitting in the river.
All right.
A lot of vision control right around here for Jin Air. They have wards all over the place.
Third chance at the Zerat portal. Let's see it. Come on, Expression.
He's going to run all the way back to his tier 2 and drop it.
That's when I'm worried that he can hear my comms. I mean, now Lissandra's there with teleport, so...
I don't think he's placed it at all yet.
No, he hasn't. Looks like he's going to place it there. Nope. It's better of it. At this point, though, Lissandra's there and just clear it, so... Now's not the time.
Will it ever be the time, though, for this Baron?
I mean, we could just kill the Cloud Drake, then kill the 5-buff Elder Drake, I guess.
That's a lot of time we have to wait for.
Well, I mean, it's only the arrow, because Singe just is not grouped with the team, because why would Singe be grouped with the team? If they can push some deep vision and get Ghosting Singe to the backline, maybe they can make the play, but...
Right now, Jin Air might be looking for it. You can see Kuzan sitting in the base.
I mean, Fly's gone for the absolute most damage. Remember, he doesn't even have Rylai. It's not a chase build. This is a burst build from Talia.
He's shown how much burst he already has.
Ridiculous.
It's pretty absurd. He's definitely doing all of the damage as opposed to Prey. They throw out the wall. Again, not catching anybody. And they clear out some vision inside the Baron pit, but they can't commit to it. So.
I mean, Prey doesn't have lifesteal, obviously.
Oh boy, Teddy, why are you there? TP's coming through. Ash Arrow finds him. Root comes out. Crash takes him out. But Ixu comes in, finds Prey, jumps onto him to heal. Not going to be enough to keep him alive. Kuzan coming in, jumps forward with the Proto Belt. Gets some damage in on the Gorilla, but he's still going to be alive for the time being. Goes straight into Azonia as a Fly, trying desperately to kite back with this dreaded volley. Just can't really get through Ixu. Is able to fire over the wall and take out Kuzan. So far, a 3 for 2 in their favor. Looks like Ixu, there we go, seismic shove in to pop the Guardian Angel. Not a whole lot he can do now. He'll get worked down, and it's just Umti left alive. Longzhu, they are going to walk straight over to this Baron.
And best case scenario for Longzhu, Ash had done his job. He got the stun. He killed the enemy AD carry. There's no getting away from Kuzan. Was going to inevitably die. But they have Kha'Zix and a full damage Talia. Not even utility in this build. They even have AP scaling on the GLP from the Death Cap for more damage and that Infernal Drake. So, know exactly what they're doing.
Umti, yeah. Won't get seismic shoved out of that tunnel, but still gets taken rather low.
They should kill the Blast Cone as well.
Yep. There you go. Fly heard you.
I said kill it. I didn't necessarily mean go over it, because there was a world where Umti could flash in. Doesn't happen, so still pass marks. C+, B- for that particular Baron setup.
All right. I mean, Teddy, this was so ill-advised.
A good Ash arrow. It needed to hit that. Everyone else went in, got the kill. And it doesn't matter if Ash dies because of the team comp. They have Singe, who is unkillable, chasing down other damage dealers, and they have consistent damage from both Kha'Zix and the Talia. Big change in the Kha'Zix rework is that in many fights like this, consistent damage. No longer 4-second cooldowns, 1-second cooldown or less with some CDR. No one's tanky compared to Talia and Kha'Zix, talking sheer physical and sheer magical damage. And they get the Baron too, so Longzhu turning it around. There was a world where Longzhu was 0-2, which wouldn't have been acceptable from an organization perspective, and right now they're closer and closer to inking their name on their first victory of the season.
Certainly looks that way. Finally made something happen, and the Baron is such a huge pickup for him. Cloud Drake about to spawn in a minute 15, but for the time being, Longzhu won't be worried about throwing down vision control. They want to get some turrets for their time invested around that Baron. Ash Arrow comes out, does connect on the Snowflower. Prey goes pretty low. Fly getting hit up by the Chains of Corruption, jumped on with a twisted advance, and he gets popped. Kill coming through for Teddy. This might be bad for Longzhu. Expression completely getting locked down, cannot make it out alive. A double kill for the Varus. And suddenly Longzhu, they have to hesitate, and they won't be able to continue this push. This is a great time for Jin Air to counter back down the mid lane.
Given the spawn timing, likely they'll miss out on the Drake. Only a single Cloud Drake to Jin Air is not a big factor, though. And let's see how much work Jin Air can do, because they're healthy. 5-man, a lot of ranged auto attackers. Decent wave clear from Longzhu, but Prey has to be oh so careful that he gets picked.
Yeah, it looks like Jin Air, they will go ahead, peel back, take the minor victory that they got, picking up Fly and Expression. And we'll transition this into a Dragon. 10 seconds left on this spawn. Crash is nearby. There's an outside chance that he could go for a steal.
Doesn't seem worth it. His death timer here is way, way more costly than a Cloud Drake. They can delay. I don't want to be silly, and Varus now very out of position in terms of doing this Drake.
Seems like Jin Air actually going to go ahead and peel back yet again. They throw down the Scuttle Crab so they get spotted, but this could very easily be soloed by Crash, which is exactly what he's going to do. So 5 Drakes on Longzhu. Elder Dragon going to be spawning after this one. This could be the final nail in the coffin of Jin Air, but we'll take another look at this catch in mid.
I mean, Fly walks through, guaranteed vision, thinks there's no chance in the world he'll be taken down, but it's actually the bounce on the Varus ultimate that roots him on place. Crash shared it with Fly, who just didn't seem to respect or maybe even notice given all the calamity that he was caught up. Especially then goes down as well. What I want to spell out to the viewers, though, is that backing away from the Cloud Drake was the correct decision from Jin Air, because they'd won a fight, they'd taken the objective in mid, and they hadn't been able to shop with their sprees, with their gold. They needed to back away, spend money, otherwise they were potentially going to fight against freshly shopped, higher level, high experience members of the enemy team. Kuzan looking for the teleport flank, but now, no easy time.
Oh boy. Well, Teddy, after getting those couple kills, is definitely in a nice spot, has Edge of the Night completed. They can keep himself alive a bit longer, as well as that QSS.
Edge of the Night's really useful against Singed, just like Banshee Veil was back in Season 1, Season 2, when Singed was last being played. He has no way to break it except for the flip, and he's also the only person, realistically, that should be anywhere near a Varus in fights. He's going to ignore most of that CC. It's not the really cool uses of Edge of the Night we saw, like, for example, the Jin ulting with it, the way to deny Bard having the range to interrupt on ultimates.
Oh, there comes out. Nice juke back by Kuzan, keeping himself alive. Might not be able to say as much for the turn. Goes in, drops the Frozen Tube down onto himself. Prey is going low, and the TP comes in the back line. Ixu flashing forward, has the twisted advance, takes out the Ashe immediately.
Longzhu.
Crash goes down as well. Teddy kills Fly. 3 kills picked up for 0. Jin Air have blown this game wide open.
Oh, Talia. Fly was out of position. Weaver's Wall didn't commit to that either, and then just died in transition. Jin Air seemed just surprised that this has happened. Longzhu, we're talking about them winning the game. Doesn't matter how many items Expression has. Doesn't matter about Gorilla's health bar. They will lose an inhibitor here. Barring any sort of heroics, it's 20 seconds till Ashe is up. They can't end the game, but hugely against the run of play, Longzhu have a brain explosion.
Wow. What a turnaround. Now even in gold, the inhibitor line broken by Jin Air. And Longzhu suddenly find themselves on struggle street. And this is a team, they haven't even lost their other tier 1 towers. The top one and the bottom one are still standing. But Jin Air has managed to break their way through to the mid inhibitor.
What an engage by Kuzan. This is a veteran of the Sanja play. He completely foxes them, and although Umti's initiation's flashed, watch what happens here.
Edge of the Night not broken yet?
Nope, gets broken and just dies.
Wow.
This is Teddy. Remember, he profited from the last fight where he picked up gold. In the back line, it was Maokai teleporting on and Kuzan coming in. First CC comes down, no QSS, a dead Ashe, and they're just not setting up respectfully. They're being too aggressive, playing too many lanes when they do have Ashe with no defensive items. When Talia, the Weaver's Wall, hasn't worked the last couple of times. Longzhu are just making frustrating mistakes, both for their coach, for their players, and even for us watching this game.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, Jin Air, definitely a breath of life for these guys. And some hope, but still have to be concerned. 40 seconds on the Baron. Longzhu can get that for themselves. Could help them get back into an advantageous position. There's also that Elder Dragon on the horizon. 5 buffs for Longzhu. And you have to think, you have a 5-buff Elder Dragon and you still manage to lose the game. You really didn't deserve to win.
Consider that the next fight is being played with gold even and only an Infernal Drake separating the two teams. So 8% more, sure, but that's it. That's the only thing to show for a game that has been run by Longzhu for 40 minutes.
All right, well, let's see what their next move's going to be. Mission Control has come down around the Baron pit from both sides. Smattering of wards on all sides of the pit. And now Elder Dragon up in 1:30.
They have to think this one through. They have an issue where when it comes to getting exclusive vision in an area, Kha'Zix can't do that. It's the one thing as a jungler, even with his jump, he just can't do safely. so only Singe can really put down Vision. Still has a warding trinket, but denying Vision is also risky, given how squishy the rest of the members are. So this will sound crazy, but there's a world where you just force or encourage Jin Air to swap Baron for a 5-stack Elder Drake, and especially with the buff duration and having Ash Arrow and having Weaver's Wall, try and make it work. Because I think taking a safe Baron is impossible for Longzhu.
Yeah, I mean, they can't even try to push up and take that tier 2 tower that's been junked down to half HP already.
I mean, literally the moment double TP is up, both Kuzan and Ixu wreck their backline in different ways.
I mean, there's a ward sitting right in the middle of the lane that I don't know if they spotted. I can't see at the moment. Looks like it did get cleared out or expired at least, so that's going to be one TP opportunity taken away from Kuzan and Ixu once those teleports are back up. Specian still taking a lot of damage. They want to commit to this one. Crashes on the backside, trying to zone off Kuzan.
Weaver's Wall gets Teddy.
Specian gets the toss in onto Ixu. Big Ash Arrow comes through.
3-time getting down
Snowflower
Maokai.
gets popped up. And the Maokai is just steadily getting burned out, but Gorilla, he's out of the fight. Crash as well, gets popped. Mid-leap by Kuzan. Specian, almost the Guardian Angel being taken down. They have to kite back into the base. The Super Creeps and Jin Air are pushing straight down. 50 seconds on Crash, 35 on Gorilla. Jin Air, they could go for either objective, the Baron or the Elder Drake.
Yeah, Crash is getting nothing done. Another game where he got a good start, but just hasn't been making things happen in fights. And since just the sole tank is starting to hurt them, they can't play the map anymore. They've thrown away some of their leads, and now, having Maokai and Rek'Sai, the tank frontline that dominated Game 1 is hurting them here in Game 3. They're going for a trade. It's going to take a very long time for them to kill this Drake. They might not actually be able to take it.
You can see already Snowflower, well, he's backing off. He's low HP, but
7,000.
maybe wondering his way over. It looks like they will have this in time, so that's going to be a big boon for Longzhu with those 5 buffs, but they're going to have to pick a fight in this window.
On 4 members as well. Crash doesn't get the buff. It's worth noting. Are they ballsy enough to make the play they probably have to make? I think at this point they need to just go all in with this buff. Otherwise, it becomes Game 1. In Game 1, Taliyah fell behind, so she didn't have the damage to kill Maokai and Rek'Sai that were just kind of slightly ahead of where they should be, but they weren't monsters, let's say. In this game, Taliyah was just slicing through everyone, but now we're getting to, look at the items, Sunfire Cape, Spirit Visage, Righteous Glory, and a Guardian Angel, which is down for the Maokai, up for the Rek'Sai. They now can soak damage and then some, and I think Longzhu understand it. They need to make something work, put down a very aggressive Zerat portal, and all right, Prey, Ash Arrow of your life, time to go.
Let's see what he can do. They're an empowered minion, something that they're going to have to push through. You can see the Zerat portal thrown down. As they try to clear these out, waiting for minions of their own to move up.
Consider they don't have any flashes down either. The flip isn't enough to secure a kill unless they're flipping right into Ash with Q. The Rangers' focus going.
And they've peeled back, and it's
that's so hard.
Just looking like a really rough spot to be in. So I mean, getting that Elder Dragon was such a huge boon potentially, but they might just be, using that to dissuade Jin Air from pushing into them.
Oh, what?
So have the buff expire. That's going to be a big catch on the Teddy. Can
This
they
is
finish
the
him off
fight.
in time? He flashes away. He's able to get taken out. That's going to be the volley coming through from Prey, securing the kill on the Varus. Big seismic shove, pushing back Ixu. He's going to twist and advance in onto Prey, but the damage is coming through from Fly. They take him down. 2 kills picked up so far for Longzhu. Can they go for more? Looks like the tier 2 tower is going to be the start of it. How far can they go with this push? It's 50 seconds on the Maokai. They need at least an inhibitor.
They want to win it here. They're against Baron buff minions at least for a little bit more. The buff is still on them. They rip through these objectives. Maybe that was the pick that'll do it, Achilleos.
Certainly looking like it. Longzhu waiting for the wave, trying to get onto Umti. He has that Guardian Angel available, so maybe not the best target for them. The Baron empowered waves spawning in. Expression still having to tank up in the front
it's only
lines.
20 seconds now for the Varus. If they don't get another pick, I think they have to back off, but maybe they can't.
So risky. Fly, he sends out the Weaver's Wall, cutting off Snowflower. Throwing out that makeup range, trying to slow him up as best as he can. But they're onto the turrets. That's going to be the Ash Arrow coming through. Doesn't find Kuzan as he goes back into the fountain. He actually snaps forward, finds Prey. I thought he went backwards, but he went straight in. Has the Zonias to keep himself alive. He'll be able to retreat back into the fountain, heal up, and maybe even rejoin the fight.
Respawns.
Trying to run his way out of here, but here comes Teddy. The chain of corruption connects, and they'll take him out 3 members of Longzhu now dead for about 40 seconds each. Void Rush coming through from Umti. Or actually, the teleport coming through from Kuzan, looking for Crash. He goes for it, tries to get Fly, but Fly absolutely destroys him. Snowflower able to finish off the Kazakhs, but Crash, there's nothing he can do. His teammates are still down for at least 30 seconds.
Nice turn onto the Lissandra. Longzhu were in such a weird spot because they knew they had to win the game there. The team comp was really working against them, but when they missed the first chance, when they couldn't get another pick, they had to back out. Overall, they won't lose that much. They will not lose the game from that particular mistake or decision or committal. They back away. Bash still has some wave clear. The respawns will come through. We reassess. They need to make the play again, though, Achilles. They won't have teleport this time, and it's just very difficult to get access onto Teddy like they were able to the last time.
Wow,
so this was
on.
That's the thing about the glacial path, goes straight through the arrow, nowhere. This is reason why you had to back up. The moment that Kuzan is there, because Kuzan wasn't there for the initial skirmish. I won't call it a fight because it was 2 picks. So he wasn't there. He had flash up, he had ult up, he had everything up, and Longzhu could have lost the game. If everyone died here, they just would have run it down mid and lost the game. The turn onto this double teleport coming through. Actually, the Maokai just walking through. If Kuzan gets a pick on Crash, the game is over. But they actually turn around, and Crash isolated damage is certainly still off the charts. Oh, we can take a slight breath, but I thought that fight did the game in. They couldn't quite get a 3rd pick. They couldn't quite end the game. And now it's still another fight to decide who will get all the points.
Kuzan has been pushing his limits so hard on this Lissandra. Didn't even go back to get the full HP. It comes straight back into the glacial path. Finds that massive lockdown and then barely lives with single-digit HP as he goes into the Zonia. Is absolutely mind-boggling play coming out from him. You see the pings coming out from Jinair. Might finally want to knock down one of these tier 1 turrets. Looks like top turret might be the one that they aim for.
This is just one of those weird games.
Oh boy.
Okay. Maybe
of all times.
Maybe it's another communication issue. That seems to have been what's plagued the right side of our stage.
Yeah, last time it was this sound issue for Fly. Looks like we could just have that happening again.
It's crazy that this game could be decided by Edge of the Night usage. Literally popping it too early and not having it when it was necessary.
That's how I feel right now.
Literally having the spell shield cancel even by an Ash Arrow or just a volley, and then getting in and getting the Singed on top, because Singed needs access to Varus. If you flip Varus, you win the game. Varus doesn't have a lot of consistent damage. If you compare the builds, Ash has gone much more traditional AD carry, and the Varus is a poking build that does good damage but cannot damage Singed. Singed needs focus fire. So it's crazy that an Edge of the Night might decide the game, but literally if you pop it early and don't have it, that's about the only way that Longzhu can win a team fight.
Oh boy. Well, this is going to be a nice little break in the action, I suppose, for us. So we get to take a breath and collect ourselves.
But you just feel for the players. The restless energy this builds up is...
This could really just put a halt to that.
I mean, my heart goes out to them because, again, the restless energy, being stuck at such a critical point. Longzhu, obviously, are the team that's going to have the more frustrations. Jinair, for 40 minutes, we're just like, oh, you know, like, they outplayed us. We had a good series, won a game. And then, you know, critical mistake. Game changes hands a couple of times. And now we're suddenly line ball with Jinair having a team comp advantage. Just having a strong front line. Things like cold hands, things like restless energy, just looking at these faces. Most of them seem to be in pretty good spirits, but it's also getting late. Pro gamers in Korea especially do late scrim blocks, so you often see Faker streaming at 2 a.m. and things like that. It is 11:15 local time, so getting to the wee hours. Credit to all the fans. Haven't seen anyone leave yet, Achilles.
Yeah, there's quite a few people still here. So definitely dedicated, definitely want to see the end of this series, much like we do. Not for the sake of being done with it, because we just don't know who the hell's going to win it.
I mean, one of these teams goes in 0-2, and for Jinair, that was a possibility. You know, just given their lineup. For Longzhu, it's worst case scenario, for sure.
Well, now we'll have to wait and see who's going to make the next move. Super Creeps pushing down the mid onto both sides. Baron getting ready to spawn in a minute. Elder Dragon still even further out. So Longzhu, how do they want to play this one? Because you have to think that it's going to be Just waiting this out for the Baron to come up, trying to get vision, and maybe trying to get a pick so they get started safely.
It's just so weird how this game has gone. Because the problem on paper was that Jin lacked damage, but because they just have so little disruption, getting to Teddy is hard, and Kuzan's access to the backline, Gorilla's not enough to peel away Alessandro. And Crash is just kind of caught between roles in a team fight, so it's really intriguing. I thought for sure Jin would be up against it in the late game, but the front line, and the Maokai especially, is really derailing the hopes, because when the people are this squishy, it doesn't matter if your damage is low, if you pop Ashe, if you pop Talia.
Yep. Well, now sitting inside the base is Expression, maybe looking for a teleport play. Not the most impactful, not nearly as impactful as the Maokai coming into your face, but sometimes the Singed arriving could definitely help you out. Longzhu sitting in mid, using those plants to scout out. They will clear that control ward.
Edge of the Night was sold, Achilles.
Oh, wow, yeah, actually.
That could be a problem.
You are correct. Oh, that could be an even bigger problem for Teddy. Throws out the Chains of Corruption, doesn't connect onto anybody. Going to be on cooldown for not that long, but if Longzhu are able to find a fight, find a pick onto him, that could very well be it. So he's going to have to be very cautious about positioning. Musko's blade gets popped as they try to find a pick onto Crash, but he leaps away before Kuzan can react and get a Frozen Tomb drop on him.
The only argument is that his flash is up, so perhaps it is the one time when he can sell it for more damage. His flash was down, you need it. You need some form of interrupt specifically for the Singed. Singed still has Ghost up. I know he looks super weird, but Ghost is available.
See wave prep from Longzhu, not the greatest. Bottom lane. Will be moving forward. Oh boy, here comes Ixu, gets a lockdown. Onto Crash, who has to jump out immediately. Ashe Arrow will catch him.
Big seismic shove.
Umpty going low, so has the Guardian Angel, as does Ixu, but it looks like they might be able to shred through him in time. Snowflower lays down the bullet time. This will be the respawn coming through from Ixu. Looks like he might be relatively safe for the moment. Kuzan throws out that Glacial Path, threatening to come back in. And Longzhu go ahead and peel back. Gorilla and Crash way too low to stick around. They will go back. Weaver's Wall coming through from Fly just to try to deny them from moving over to the Baron just in case. But do Longzhu want to do so? Looks like it's just going to be for vision control as they move up the river.
Bring back Crash. Okay, recalls are here. Notable cooldowns down. Flash on both Umpty and Ixu is down. All flashes available. The Ghost down on Expression. His Righteous Glory will be up in a little while, so gotta say, Consequential Summoners and a Guardian Angel down. Makes things better for Longzhu, but certainly doesn't ice the game at all.
Oh boy, this is going to be so risky. They start up the Baron. Look how much damage this thing has taken already at half HP. The TP starting to come
needs to
through.
get out.
They need to get out of their Prey, getting locked down, but here comes Ixu. The Twisted Advance comes through. He locks them out. Prey just desperately trying to heal himself back up. Pops the Honey Fruit. He's still alive. Fly coming over to the side.
Can they
Gorilla
turn it?
Takes out Kuzan. Prey, he's still alive. Gets rid of the Maokai. And Jin Air, they have to head for the hills.
The Honey Fruit of all things was so consequential there. It's a 2-for-1 trade. They're going to go for the push. They don't want to go on Baron. Longzhu want to find a win. Out of nowhere, they might have done it.
They very well could have. Umpty coming in with a recall. Teddy just trying to pick up this red buff, but I think he has to get the hell out of dodge. TP coming out from Expression. They're going to keep the shove moving down in mid to try to get this inhibitor yet again. Wave up into the top lane. Fly spotting out Teddy. He's in such a bad spot. Here comes Expression. Throws out the slime. Teddy's going to flash the wall, trying to buy some time if they continue to chase him. But Prey, meanwhile, he's knocking down the inhib. Umpty jumps onto him. Here comes Snowflower. And Prey, he's deleted. Fly arriving, though. Can he turn something around? Can he try to get a pick? Roots coming down. They throw down the Zyra ultimate. Should be able to at least get the Guardian Angel here away from the Rek'Sai. And they do. Snowflower, he kites back. Kuzan, 10 seconds away from coming back up. Gorilla, flash out of the bullet time, will keep himself alive for the moment. That's going to be an inhibitor exposed in top. They weren't able to get the one in mid.
I don't think Longzhu problem solved that one correct, Achilles. Expression spent the whole time chasing Varus, assuming his team could do the rest of the work, but Prey suicides to kill the top lane inhibitor, and they don't really have anything else, and now Baron's being turned on by Jin Air.
Yeah, they're working their way over here. It's the Void Rush coming up from Umpty. Prey is dead for another 30 seconds, and you have to think that Longzhu cannot contest this objective without
another trade,
him.
I think, Achilles.
It's looking like that might be the case. Team pushing forward. They're going to start tanking this up, and the Baron should absolutely get shredded.
Yep.
Longzhu need to take this Elder Dragon very quickly.
They'll be fine. They've got Smite this time. I think they'll be okay. They don't have much consistent damage. Sin's just doing nothing in terms of damage at this point in the game. Talia, respectable, but the ground is mostly going to be worked in that area. They power it down. They'll get that confirmation very soon, Jinair. They're waiting for Prey. That was smart.
And yeah, really crucial. Having that true damage on Prey is absolutely critical if they want to come out on top of this. And you can see the player cams right now. A lot of intense focus, stress just washing over their faces.
I mean, this game will feel like a loss to Longzhu whether they win or lose, just because of how far ahead they were and how they mismanaged the mid-game. It should have been clean from them. It certainly wasn't, and we have to start adjusting down our expectations for Longzhu in general. But the points still need to be there. It's one thing to get the points and still be frustrated, to lose the points and also have that sinking feeling that might be a lot for Longzhu. You know, we don't know where they're at in general outside of the game, but still such a close game, still so stressful. One mistake will decide this game.
This is when Longzhu really needs to push it. They have the super creeps moving up in the top lane. They need to make use of this buff. But again, shoving through against these Baron empowered minions does just make it a little bit more difficult than they would like.
Every time that Glacial Path comes in, it could be death, right? It could be anything. It's Heartstopper every time a line skill shot, any form of CC comes through. But now, going for that safe take, and they get it. Waiting out Elder Drake, remember, Baron buff still does last longer than Elder Drake.
Yep.
Look at that duration. It's about 60% gone.
Yeah, almost 3/4 of the way there. Pushing up yet again. They don't have super creeps inside the base on the top lane yet. Waves are building up in mid. Let's see Kuzan clearing those out for the time being. There's also that Zorat portal set up. Ashero goes through, does find Snowflower. He's chunked down to about half HP. You can see the true damage ticking away at him.
Item build's getting crazy. Teddy is completely artillery, basically a Cogmore. No boots. Basically can do nothing against Singe. He needs his teammates in that regard. We already saw Expression make a commitment onto Teddy that overall I think hurt the team. They could have gotten more after those 2 picks. They need to really see how Jinair reacts. They need to play around the fact that Teddy does a lot of damage, but no defensive tools, barring a bit of movement speed. Honestly, you see Singed, you pop the Makura Scimitar for move speed. It's much more consequential. No one's CCing you, barring the Ash Arrow, and that's one, sure, that you'll use it on, but otherwise, you're not going to be in range of anything.
55 minutes on the clock, the longest game that we've had so far in Season 7.
Certainly not the cleanest.
Definitely not the cleanest.
But if it goes late, everything's exciting. That's the thing, is it should be Longzhu's win.
Not something that you normally say about Jinair games, but yeah, this one's been entertaining.
Sort of game where you're convicted because, you know, Longzhu worked so hard to get the win, but then mismanaged what they had, and kind of spurs on Jinair as the spiritual winners in terms of they kind of did what they could do when behind.
I mean, I'm just looking at some of these audience members, and the expression on their faces is just so tense.
Could also be like extreme sleepiness.
It could be that as well, but I mean, we know how dedicated these guys are. We know how dedicated our viewers are.
Here's what I'll tell you.
OGN Legion staying up late to watch the series.
Even if this game finishes at 11:30, 11:40, there's still going to be a huge crowd of people wanting to meet their idols downstairs after the game in the press interviews.
Oh, for sure. Oh boy, Weaver's Wall comes out, cuts out Ixu. Teddy waiting for that piercing arrow. They can't get in. The wave clear is just too strong from Jinair.
Ixu's just the most unkillable.
The top lane inhibitor has respawned, so there goes that pressure. Guardian Angel is up for Ixu and for MT.
I mean, Longzhu can't close this game by pushing into the inhibitors. It just won't happen. Too much wave clear, too much safety. Maokai to stand at the front. But Jinair can't really force the issue without committing really hard. The moment that Kuzan teleports in, game's either won or lost on that play. So They also haven't been able to get the vision to get the wards you kind of want. You need a teleport ward and also information wards to go for the crazy all-in plays. So it's so tense. It really is. And Jin Air just have no reason to walk into the jungle whatsoever. Sure, Maokai might face check it, but otherwise...
He's got saplings.
Yep.
There's hello.
Remember that as we move further and further out of the base, there's more and more ways to take advantage of Varus' build. He has no move speed.
He does have, however, a very tanky front line in Ixu to keep him alive. Crash goes low.
Doesn't really do anything this late in the game. Doesn't do enough damage. Certainly isn't tanky enough. Can't initiate anything. Crash is a passenger at this point.
Just noticed that Fly actually sold his Zonias and picked up a Banshee's Veil.
So risky to push forward, but otherwise they'd just be clearing waves. 59 minutes in, could be our first hour-long game of the season.
Oh boy. This is where things start getting tense. You can see Crash, he still takes a good amount of damage. Gorilla coming out from the sidelines.
Well,
oh, that's a big TP into the back line. Ixu's going to eat that Ash Arrow. They push him back in. He's going to flash away. Zyra ultimate won't find
He's
much.
worried about focus fire. He doesn't know if he can actually flip Teddy, so that's why we got this comical situation where he moves damn fast, but all he's doing now is proxying, and they don't have a way to close in on him because he still has the Cloud Drake. Well, it's teleport down. Consider that. That's the most important thing to take away. And now suddenly, the immobile Teddy, who compared to everyone else having 100,000 move speed has almost none, is safe.
Yep, no ghost there for Expression.
No Righteous Glory even for a while.
Yeah.
Nobody can get anywhere near Teddy after that teleport's down, and now, if I'm Jin Air, it's time to take this inhibitor.
Yeah. Saw Expression place that preemptive Zerat portal by the Tier 2 tower to stop the wave from crashing in. Both inhibitors are respawned for Jin Air as they try to take out this only open inhibitor in the mid lane of Longzhu.
As well.
Yep, actually really big wave coming through. Could be cleared out very quickly
really.
by Prey and Fly, but yeah, the wave management from Longzhu's not been fantastic so far. Into the fog of war.
Snowflower was very advanced, but that was just, of course, with fusion toggled.
Ash Arrow comes out yet again, finding Ixu. Seems to be a magnet for these sort of things. The seismic shove barely misses, just on the other side of him. So they won't be able to lock him down and try to pop that GA. Big wave starting to knock down the Tier 2 in the top lane. You can see it's already almost dead. The pings are coming out from Longzhu, but no one can move over to respond. They might just lose 2 Tier 2s. The wave in bottom, even with the point links from that Zerat portal, might not be enough to keep the turret alive.
Leah can react, has the Weaver's Wall, so can use that just purely for reposition. Too late in the game for any backline to Leah play. As you noted, doesn't have the Zonias to reset aggro either.
Yep, still lost the turret, however. And the one in bottom is, in fact, getting chunked down.
That's what that's through a Zerat portal.
That is going to die. Like, with those waves moving in, that is going to go down. But now the Baron has respawned.
Righteous Glory back up for the Singe, so has one option again.
Especially eating that sapling.
Varus is really out of position, to be clear.
If only they knew.
They don't have that information, but he's super, super out of position.
Weaver's Wall coming through, going to try to cut them off. Kuzan and Teddy technically have been chopped from the rest of the team. They start up the Baron. This is so risky, though, for Longzhu. They cannot commit to this, and they already peel off. Ash Arrow comes through, but Umti is able to channel the tunnel in time to get himself out to safety.
But Achilles, they need to do what they're doing. They need to start the Baron, which means that Crash takes damage, purely because the kit swap that they have can't really force anything without aggro around the Baron. So, oh, it's such a standstill. We're above that 1 hour mark, 62 minutes in. How do Longzhu win? It's looking more and more tough.
I wonder what the record is for longest game, period.
It's I think it's a really long one. It depends what scenes you include. You need to start saying words like Premier League, because I think there's been 2-hour games in, like...
I'm talking about at the top here, like, no. Seeding into MSI at least.
It's definitely the sort of thing you can look into, but it's above 90. Might be above 100.
Could very well be on our way.
The most one I recently remember was something like 88, so I think it's more than that. Well, they do this pretty quick, but not that quick.
Well, they're committing to this one empty, obviously, over the wall.
I mean, you take a
Have that
50-50
ward
smite,
down.
because at least you can fight over it.
He's going low. He's not even going to come into the pit. They actually just take the Baron.
His life is so much more important than stealing the Baron. It's this so late in the game that the only thing Baron really gets Longzhu is better stats to fight around the Drake, you know, the dragon.
Yeah, Jitter, they have to fight this. This has to be their Alamo.
But do they? I mean, that's such a weird thing to say, but do they? Because
it's another 5-stack
sure,
Elder Dragon plus Baron.
But Longzhu can't start anything where they want to. They can't break the base. They can't clear the waves. They can't stop the wave clear. They don't have threat on Varus. And this is the terrain where they can be caught on. This is exactly where Longzhu want to fight, because suddenly there's no safe place for Varus to put out damage.
Well, they're going to throw out the Weaver's Wall. MT and Ixu on the opposite side of things. Elder Dragon down to about half. Kuzan coming in from the sidelines. Can he find an entry?
Not yet.
Ash Arrow comes out, locks up Ixu.
Oh!
Kuzan almost goes down, gets the Sonia's off in time, but they throw down the Zyra ultimate. That might be enough. Gorilla takes him out. Fly pushing forward, trying to chunk out Ixu, at least pop that Guardian Angel, but hasn't been able to do it yet. Umti goes down, respawning at the moment. Crash is able to pick up the Elder Dragon. There we go. The GA respawns. Coming through, Expression still alive. 2 members down to the side of Jin Air. 70 seconds out for the Rek'Sai. You have to think that has to be the game for Longzhu.
Oh, we'll have to see. This death time is so long, you must imagine so. They still have Varus for wave clear, but 5 members should do it. Singe runs really damn fast.
Expression, who cares about the bottom lane? Go to mid with your team, please.
Well, we're so close to it, Achilles. The one place Jin Air didn't want to fight, Kuzan of all people is caught out. The turn burst onto him was just massive. And now, wave clear against Baron buff is hard. They've only got 3 members. I think Longzhu have done it, but damn, right at the last minute.
You can see Jin Air still trying to delay. Longzhu are just checking off every little tick, every little box. Get that third and final inhibitor. Crash goes low, still has the Guardian Angel
14 seconds for Kuzan.
Kuzan almost up. Didn't have to use it. Didn't get the chance to use anything. Snowflower, he's popping the bullet time. Longzhu, they're going to peel back. And it goes on and on and on. Oh, well, I was on my feet for a little bit there. Now I'm back to sitting down.
They could have tried the brute force. We got the record game. Here we go.
Wow.
79 minutes for LCK. I wasn't around for that game. I was in the LPL casting really fast games.
I was there for that. Wait, no, I wasn't. This was 2015.
Yes.
Never mind.
Hence.
We had one that was very close.
What were you doing in 2015 spring? TL stuff?
Yes.
Okay. You were making videos.
It was right when I got hired by TL.
I was casting Chinese
so if
League of Legends.
79's the record, I think it was about 76, 77 minutes, the one that Monty and I had. So we had something very close to the record then.
I love that they've come up with a new graphic for Elder Dragon stacks. They've had 3 of them. That's cool. That's new.
Where does the 4th dot go?
On the other side, I guess. I don't know.
Start boxing them in?
Hey, we're in uncharted territory, Achilles.
Oh, boy. This has never happened before. Longzhu, they have a bit longer
and this
dragon
is where
buff, from what I can tell.
You want to threaten, but you want to kill those damn Nexus turrets.
They haven't gotten any hits in yet.
I mean, who's going to hit them? It has to be Prey, and he doesn't have.
Arrow again, sticking to Ixu like glue. More super creeps coming in. The turret's starting to take a little bit of chip damage. Prey, does he feel safe enough to push forward? Has to be so worried about Kuzan jumping on him.
3 inhibitor waves come down, maybe even a Zarot portal on top of it for just the most PvE.
All right, Jin Air. It's do or die time. They have to win this fight. If they're able to do so, they can shove straight down mid and win the game. But everything, all the odds stacked against them. Team going low, able to stay alive for now.
Nexus turret down.
They've chunked out Crash, they've chunked out Fly. This is so dangerous for both sides. Expression and Prey, the only 2 healthy members on the side of Longzhu. And Teddy still has a hell of a lot of siege potential, has a hell of a lot of damage.
Commits.
Expression, he gets caught. He's trying to hightail it out. Looks like he will be able to make it out with his life for the time being, but Fly taking some damage, has to peel back. The Nexus turret not yet dead. Jin Air holding onto it for dear life. Ash Arrow connects onto Kuzan. They cannot take him out yet. He goes into the Zonias. Can they follow up? Volley comes through. He flashes out. Almost gets crit to death. Ixu goes in. Tries to lock down Prey, but he cannot do it. Prey is able to take him out. Gorilla flashing
on the Nexus.
Helps get rid of Snowflower. And there we go. 67.5 minutes. Longzhu Hard fought by both sides. One hell of a clown fiesta, but they will put a win on the board over Jin Air.
They did it in the toughest way possible, Achilleos. Could have problem solved 27 minutes earlier, but they finally find a way through the fight over the Elder Drake. You understand the thought. Baron, 5 Drake stacks and the Elder Dragon sounds like too much, but with how the game was going and the terrain they're fighting on with a no-escape Varus, I think you give it over. It sounds crazy, but I think you have a higher percentage chance of winning if you don't contest. Ward in the right spot, Gorilla catches the Kuzan, he dies, and Jin Air, so near yet so far, and Longzhu, they win a series, but that's about all you can really credit them with.
Good God. What a monster of a game. And you can see the disappointment here on the faces of the Jin Air members. Teddy especially seems like he's taken this one pretty hard.
It's definitely one where you delay the VOD review till another day.
Yeah.
It's already late. This game finishes at roughly 11:30 local time. A nail-biter. Definitely not clean, especially compared to our Series 1 where KT played pretty immaculately. Longzhu, good start. Ending not so good. Honestly, pretty reminiscent of the original Longzhu roster last year that had a good early game and then less said about the late game, the better. Everything changes about Longzhu barring 2 members. The coach changes. Song is there from the Rocks Tigers. But some of those old familiar issues creep up and they won, but you wouldn't know it looking at their faces.
Definitely can't feel great about that win. Mostly relieved that it's finally over. He escaped from that hell, but
you feel for the younger players especially. Yeah. They wouldn't have had this experience. You know, they can smile about it, but to smile through frustration. Very, very long series. Nobody happy. Longzhu with the points. League of Legends, huh?
Yep. Just some good old League of Legends. Oh, dear. Well, this has been quite the adventure, Papa Smithy. We stuck it out. We made it through to the end. So, credit where credit's due. Good job to the fans here in the audience for sticking through that. To you guys watching at home. As it's the morning now in some places of the United States, as well as Europe.
We haven't even finished week 1. You know, our shift may be over, but LCK will roll on tomorrow. High drama, on the best way possible. Longzhu with a lot to work on going into the future. They don't look like a top 5 team right now. There are teams better than them. Doesn't mean that necessarily matters so much, 2 series played, but that's award our MVP, and it's going to go to Fly.
Yep.
Much, much better. I mean,
oh, it was night and day comparing his game 1 to Leah to his game 3.
It's some big balls for Longzhu to basically draft the same stuff that didn't work in spectacular fashion in game 1, and it really worked here, and then till suddenly it wasn't working, and it was the exact opposite situation.
Yeah, there's a complete system shut down, but I mean, off the bat, Fly coming down here.
I mean, this is the early game being decided. I guess mid-game by this point, although early is pre-30 minutes, you'd have to say, in a game of this length. Really good shot calling, really good discussion and target selection. A lot of the ults were kind of nothing ults. Some of these plays here, as I said, the seismic shoves were good. I think the Weaver's wall usage this game was poor, especially by his standards.
They just got considerably worse.
Yeah, see, that's what happened. So he actually got queued on the wall, and that's why he had to flash out. So that's actually respect to Umti rather than a mistake on the side of Fly.
Pretty good, but we have a bit of a highlight here for Fly. I
think he should have just auto-attacked the blast cone and not gone over, so that he could have continued to harass Rek'Sai. Like, Rek'Sai was slow, but this is the big story. The ward wins them the game. If anything, Gorilla's ward he put down was what won them the game. That's a flank spot that not everyone would scout, but Kuzan died. Suddenly it was 5v4, and didn't matter if Zyro was taken down in AoE.
Yep, Gorilla knows better.
Just craziness. Not clean. Exciting, high drama for the wrong reasons.
It was filthy. It was absolutely filthy.
MVP interview is going to be an interesting one, you have to say, because...
Oh, I'm sure Dong Jun and Cloud Templar have some